This is the Constitution of the country of Chad. Preamble. Chad, proclaimed a republic on 28 November 1958, acceded to national and international sovereignty on 11 August 1960. Since that date, it has experienced a monumentous institutional and political evolution. Years of dictatorship and of a single party prevented the emergence of any democratic culture and political pluralism. The different regimes that have succeeded one another have created an entrenched regionalism, tribalism, nepotism, social inequalities, and violations of the rights of man, and of the individual and collective fundamental freedoms, of which the consequences have been war, political violence, hatred, intolerance, and mistrust between different communities that compose the Chadian nation. This institutional and political crisis that has destabilized Chad for more than 3 decades has only galvanized the determination of the Chadian people to achieve the building of one nation, of dignity, of freedom, of peace, of prosperity. Therefore, the Sovereign National Conference, held at N'Djamena from 15 January to 7 April 1993, having reunited the political parties, the Association of Civil Society, the organs of the state, the traditional and religious authorities, the representatives of the rural world, and the resources of persons of stature, have restored confidence within the Chadian people and enabled the opening of a new era. Consequently, we, the Chadian people, affirm that by this constitution our desire to live together with respect for ethnic, religious, regional, and cultural diversities, to build a state of law and one united nation founded on public freedoms and the fundamental rights of man, the dignity of the human person and political pluralism on the African values of solidarity and fraternity, reaffirm our commitment to the principles of the rights of man as defined by the Charter of the United Nations of 1945, the Universal Declaration of the Rights of Man of 1948, and the African Charter of the Rights of Man and of the Peoples of 1981. Do solemnly proclaim our right and our duty to resist and disobey any individual or group of individuals, any organ of the state that would take power by force or exercise it in violation of this Constitution. We affirm our total opposition to any regime of which the policy would be founded on arbitrariness, dictatorship, injustice, corruption, extortion, nepotism, clanism, tribalism, confessionalism, and the confiscation of power. Our determination to cooperate in peace and amity with all peoples who share our ideals of freedom, of justice, of solidarity, based on the principles of equality, of reciprocal interests, of mutual respect and national sovereignty, of territorial integrity, and of non-interference, proclaim our commitment to the cause of African unity and our commitment to do everything possible to realize sub-regional and regional integration. We solemnly adopt this Constitution as the supreme law of the state. This preamble is made an integral part of the Constitution. Title 1. Of the State and of Sovereignty. Article 1. Chad is a sovereign republic, independent, secular, social, one and indivisible, founded on the principle of democracy, the rule of law, and of justice. It has affirmed the separation of the religions and of the state. Article 2. Covering an area of 1,284,000 kilometers, the Republic of Chad is organized in decentralized territorial collectives of which the autonomy is guaranteed by this Constitution. Article 3. Sovereignty belongs to the people who exercise it, either directly by referendum or indirectly by intermediary of their elected representatives. No community, no corporation, no political party or association, no trade union, organization, no individual or group of individuals may arrogate its exercise. The condition of recourse to the referendum are determined by this Constitution and by an organic law. Article 4. The political parties and groups concur in the exercise of suffrage. They form themselves freely and exercise their activities within the conditions provided for by the law and within respect for the principles of national sovereignty, of territorial integrity, of national unity, and of a pluralistic democracy. Article 5. Any propaganda of ethnic, tribal, regional, or religious character tending to infringe the national unity or the secularity of the state is prohibited. Article 6. Suffrage is universal, direct or indirect, equal, and secret. All Chadians of both sexes, aged 18 years of age and enjoying their civil and political rights, are electors within the conditions established by law. Article 7. The principle of the exercise of power is the government of the people by the people and for the people, founded on the separation of the executive, legislative, and judicial powers. Article 8. The national emblem is the tricolor flag, blue, gold, and red, in vertical bands and of dimensional equality, the blue being next to the pole. The motto of the Republic of Chad is Unite, Travail, Progress. Unity, work, and progress. The national anthem is La Chadian. The capital of the Republic of Chad is N'Djamena. Article 9. The official languages are French and Arabic. The law establishes the conditions of promotion and of development of the national languages. Article 10. The seals and the arms of the Republic of Chad are determined by law. Article 11. The conditions of acquisition and of loss of Chadian nationality are established by law. You might have a lot of questions about preparing for your financial future. Preparing for the future can be really overwhelming, so let's face it head on. Making sure that we take the appropriate steps now can help secure you and your family's well-being today, tomorrow, and for years to come. And the good news is that it's never too late or too early to prepare for your financial future. It's no secret that life is unpredictable, so let me help you prepare for the unexpected. Click on the link below and schedule an appointment so we can sit down and discuss some more important matters. Thank you. Chapter 1. Of the Freedoms and of the Fundamental Rights. Article 17. The human person is sacred and inviolable. Every individual has a right to life, to the integrity of their person, to security, to liberty, to the protection of their privacy and of their assets. Article 18. No one may be subjected either to degrading and humiliating acts or services, or treatment, or to torture. Article 19. Every individual has the right to free development of their person within respect of the right of others, of good morals, and of public order. Article 20. No one may be held in slavery or in servitude. Article 21. Illegal and arbitrary arrests and detentions are prohibited. Article 22. No one may be detained in penal establishment if it does not result from tum sus lecu, a criminal law in force. Article 23. One may only be arrested or charged by virtue of a law promulgated prior to the acts with which they are accused. Article 24. Every defendant is presumed innocent until the establishment of their culpability following a regular process, offering the indispensable guarantees for their defense. Article 25. The penalty is personal. No one may be held responsible and prosecuted for an act not committed by them. Article 26. Customary and traditional rules concerning collective criminal responsibility are prohibited. Article 27. The freedoms of opinion, of expression, of communication, of conscience, of religion, of the press, of association, of assembly, of movement, of demonstration, and of procession are guaranteed to all. They may only be limited for the respect of the freedoms and the rights of others, and by the imperative to safeguard the public order and good morals. The law determines the conditions of their existence. Article 28. The syndical freedom is recognized. Every citizen is free to affiliate with the trade union of their choice. Article 29. The right to strike is recognized. It is exercised within the framework of the laws which regulate it. Article 30. The dissolution of associations, political parties, and trade unions may only intervene within the conditions provided for by their statutes or by the judicial means. Article 31. The access to public employment is guaranteed to every Chadian without discrimination whatever, under reserve of the specific conditions of each job. Article 32. The state recognizes to all citizens the right to work. It guarantees to workers a just compensation for their services or for their production. No one may be discriminated against in their work because of their origins or their opinions, of their beliefs, of their sex, or of their marital status. Article 33. Every Chadian has the right to culture. The state has a duty to safeguard and to promote the national values of civilization. Article 34. Every citizen has the right to the creation, to the protection, and to the enjoyment of their intellectual and artistic works. The state assures the promotion and protection of the national cultural patrimony as well as of artistic and literary production. Article 35. Every citizen has the right to education. Public education is secular and gratuitous. Private education is recognized and exercised within the conditions defined by law. Basic education is obligatory. Article 36. The state and the decentralized territorial collectives create the conditions and the institutions which assure and guarantee the education of children. Article 37. The family is the natural and moral base of society. The state and the decentralized territorial collectives have a duty to see to the well-being of the family. Article 38. Parents have the natural right and duty to raise and to educate their children. They are supported in this task by the state and the decentralized territorial collectives. Children may only be separated from their parents or from their responsible for them when these fail in their duty. Article 39. The state and the decentralized territorial collectives create conditions for the fulfillment and well-being of youth. Article 40. The state strives to provide for the needs of every citizen who, because of their age or their physical or mental inaptitude, find themselves with an incapacity to work, notably by the institution of organs of social character. Article 41. Private property is inviolable and sacred. One may only be dispossessed of for cause of duly declared public utility and with just and prior indemnification. Article 42. The domicile is inviolable. Searches may only be effected with the cases and forms prescribed by law. Article 43. Every Chadian has the right to establish their domicile or residence freely and in any place whatsoever on the national territory. Article 44. Every Chadian has the right to circulate freely in the interior of the national territory, to leave it and to return it. Article 45. The secrecy of correspondence and of communications is guaranteed by law. Article 46. The right to asylum is granted to foreign nationals within the conditions determined by law. The extradition of political refugees is prohibited. Article 47. Every person has the right to a healthy environment. Article 48. The state and the decentralized territorial collectives must see to the protection of the environment. The conditions of storage, of handling, and of disposal of toxic wastes or pollutants derived from national activities are determined by law. The transit, importation, storage, burying, or dumping on national territory of foreign toxic wastes or pollutants is absolutely prohibited. Chapter 2 of the Duties. Article 49. Every citizen is held to respect the Constitution, the laws and regulations, as well as the institutions and the symbols of the Republic. Article 50. The public assets are inviolable. Every person must respect them and protect them. Article 51. The defense of the country and of the integrity of the national territory is a duty for every Chadian. Military service is obligatory. The conditions for accomplishing this duty are determined by law. Article 52. Every citizen has a duty to respect and to protect the environment. Article 53. Every citizen participates as a function of their income and of their wealth in the public expenses. Article 54. One may neither invoke religious beliefs or philosophical opinions to avoid an obligation that is dictated by the national interest. Article 55. The state has a duty to protect the legitimate interests of the Chadian peoples, nationals, abroad. Article 56. The state guarantees the political neutrality of the administration and of the armed forces and the forces of security. Article 57. The state exercises its entire and permanent sovereignty over all the national resources and riches for the well-being of all of the national community. However, it may concede the exploration and the exploitation of these natural resources to private initiative. Article 58. The state guarantees the freedom of enterprise. My friends, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain a little. Number one, it's free. Two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you've ever been looking for to make a podcast in one place. Go ahead and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Chapter 1 of the President of the Republic. Article 60. The President of the Republic is the head of state. He sees to the respect for the Constitution. He assures by his arbitration the regular function of the public powers as well as the continuity of the state. He is the guarantor of the national independence, of the sovereignty, and of the unity of the integrity of the territory, and of the respect for the treaties and international agreements. Article 61. The President is elected for a mandate of 5 years by universal direct suffrage. It is re-eligible. Article 62. The Chadians of the two sexes meeting the following conditions may make the act of candidate to the functions of the President of the Republic. To be a Chadian by birth, born of father and of mother themselves Chadian of origin, and not having a nationality other than Chadian. To be 35 years old at a minimum. To enjoy all their civil and political rights. To have a good physical and mental health. To be of good morality. The candidate must also pay a surety, the amount of which is established by law. If the candidate is a member of the armed forces and or the armed forces of security, he must first be placed on an extended leave. Article 63. The candidature for the Presidency of the Republic are deposited with the Constitutional Council 40 clear days at least in 60 clear days at the most before the first round of the ballot. 30 days before the first round of the ballot, the Constitutional Council orders and publishes the list of the candidates. Article 64. The ballot is opened on convocation of the government. The election of the new president takes place 35 days at the latest before the expiration of the mandate in its course. Article 65. In case of death or incapacity of one of the two candidates most favored in the first round before any eventual withdrawals, the Constitutional Council, after deciding, orders that it must proceed again to the whole of the electoral operations. It is the same in case of death or incapacity of one of the two candidates remaining, considering in view the second round. Article 66. The election of the President of the Republic takes place by unanimous majority ballot in 2 rounds. The candidate having obtained the absolute majority of the suffrage expressed is declared elected at the first round. If no candidate has obtained the absolute majority in the first round, it proceeds the second Sunday following to a second round for the two candidates arriving ahead. The candidate having obtained the greatest number of votes at the end of the second round is elected the President of the Republic. Article 67. The conditions of eligibility, of presentation of the candidatures, of the course of the ballot, and of the counting of the proclamation of the results are specified by law. Article 68. The Constitutional Council sees to the regularity of the ballot and decides on the results. The results of the ballot are made the object of a provisional proclamation. If no objection relative to the regularity of the electoral operations has been deposited within the Constitutional Council by one of the candidates within 5 days of the provisional proclamation, the Constitutional Council declares a President of the Republic definitively elected. In case of objection, the Constitutional Council is held to decide within 15 days from the provisional proclamation. Its decision leads to definitive proclamation or annulment of the election. If no objection is raised within the time period of 5 days, and if the Constitutional Council deems that the election was not tainted with any irregularity of any nature leading to its annulment, it proclaims the election of the President of the Republic within the 10 days which follow the ballot. In case of annulment, it proceeds to a new round of the ballot within 15 days following the decision. Article 69. The mandate of the new President of the Republic takes effect counting from the date of expiration of the preceding mandate. Article 67. Before his entry into the functions, the President of the Republic takes an oath publicly before the Constitutional Council in the presence of the members of the National Assembly in these terms. We, President of the Republic elected according to the laws of the country, solemnly swear before the Chadian people and on my honor to preserve, respect, to have respected and defend the Constitution and the laws, to fulfill with loyalty the high functions that the nation has confided in us, to respect and defend the republican form of the state, to preserve the integrity of the territory and the unity of the nation, and to put all in place to guarantee justice to all citizens, to respect and to defend the rights and the freedoms of individuals. Article 671. The functions of the President of the Republic are incompatible with the exercise of any other elective mandate, of any public employment, and of any professional and lucrative activity. They are equally incompatible with any activity within a political party or group of parties or of a trade union organization. The President of the Republic is held, on his entry into the functions and at the end of his mandate, to make on his honor a written statement of his patrimony and to address it to the Supreme Court. Article 73. During his mandate, the President of the Republic may not by himself or by intermediary purchase or lease anything that belongs to the domain of the state. He may not take part either by himself or by intermediary in public and private contracts of the state or of its components. The law establishes a civil list and other benefits granted to the president in office. It determines equally the modalities of granting of a pension and other benefits to the former presidents enjoying their civil and political rights. In the case of absence from the territory or temporary incapacity of the President of the Republic, his interim is assured by the Prime Minister within the limits of the powers that shall be delegated to him. Article 76. In case of vacancy of the President of the Republic for any cause that may or of definitive incapacity established by the Constitutional Council, referred to by the government and deciding with the absolute majority of its members, the attributions of the President of the Republic, with the exception of the powers specified in Articles 79, 82, 83, and 87, are provisionally exercised by the President of the National Assembly, and, in case of incapacity of the latter, by the first Vice President of the said Assembly. In every case, it proceeds to a new presidential election 45 days at least and 90 days at most after the opening of the vacancy. Article 77. Within the interval, the Prime Minister may neither engage the responsibility of the government before the National Assembly, nor may it make use of the motion of censure. The President of the National Assembly, assuring the functions of the President of the Republic, may neither dismiss the Prime Minister and his government, nor proceed to a revision of the Constitution, nor dissolve the National Assembly. Article 78. During the exercise of his function, the criminal responsibility of the President of the Republic is only engaged in the case of high treason that Article 173 provides. Article 79. The President appoints the Prime Minister. He terminates his functions on presentation by him of the resignation of the government. On the proposal of the Prime Minister, he appoints the other members of government and terminates their functions. Article 80. The President presides over the Council of Ministers. Now that we've read a large section of that Constitution, I think it's very important and critical to go ahead and read you a bit about quotes from a lawyer named Delphine de Jaraib. She is a famous Chadian woman lawyer, and what she says is very inspiring and very much sheds light on why this document, even though it sounds so beautiful and reads so well, we must be careful of these. She says, "We have freedoms only on paper because if a journalist criticizes the government, he will be jailed. Some have been beaten. Some have been unlawfully arrested, and even in terms of law, we have a law that is really oppressive of freedom of press. So that is an element to say that we are far from positive changes that we are looking for. The certain thing is that we have started democratic processes." She then proceeds to also say that, even worse, in 2005, Deby changed the Constitution to remove any limitations on the term of the presidency so that he could run for his third term, and he will run for a fourth term, and nothing will prevent him from winning that election. So this is the situation. There is no democracy, there is no transparency, corruption is rampant, and we have oil. So all the oil money is being misused. It has been used just by the close family members of the president, and it has brought a lot of armed conflict into Chad. And so sometimes there is a disconnect when the paper, the words in the Constitution sound beautiful and they rhyme and they combine together to say extraordinary things, but if they are not backed by action, they are meaningless. Which is why it's important for us to know what it is that the words are. Because if we don't even know the words, we cannot demand the results, the actions. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.